Okay, okay. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Raja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Raja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Panachari Yamuna Tira Panachari Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada जय श्री श्री राधा माधव अष्ट सखी की जय श्री श्री रमणीताय की जय श्री प्रभुपाद की जय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
So we are reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter number 9, most confidential knowledge. And the text number 27, it's one of the important verses of the Bhagavad Gita. Please repeat after me. Yat karoshi yadashnasi
Yat
Yat
karoshi
karoshi yat
yadajnasi.
ashnashi
yad juhoshi dadasi yat
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 juhoshi
juhoshi
dadasi yat.
dadashi yat
yat tapasyasi kaunteya
Yat
yat
tapasya
tapasyashi
kaunteya.
kvanteya
tat kurushva madarpanam.
Tat
tat
kurushva
kurishva mat
madarpanam.
arpanam.
Chant, Mataji.
Yat karoshi yatashnashi.
Yat karoshi yat ashnashi
Yat juhoshi dadasi yat.
yat juhoshi dadashi yat
Yat tapasyasi kaunteya.
yat tapasyashi kvanteya
Tat kurushva madarpanam.
tat kurishva mat arpanam. Yat karoshi yat ashnashi
Yat karoshi yad ashnasi.
yat juhoshi dadashi yat
Yat juhoshi dadasi yat.
yat tapasyashi konteya
Yat tapasyasi kaunteya.
tat kurishva mat arpanam.
Tat kurushva madarpanam.
Anyone else? Okay, let's do word for word. Yat,
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 whatever.
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 Karoshi,
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 you do.
you
you
do.
do.
Yat,
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 whatever.
whatever.
Ashnasi,
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 you eat.
you
you
eat.
eat.
Yat,
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 whatever.
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 Juhoshi,
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 you offer.
you
you
offer.
offer.
Dadasi,
Dadasi,
Dadashi,
you give away.
you
you
give
give
away.
away.
Yat,
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 whatever.
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 Yat,
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 whatever.
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 Tapasyasi,
Tapasyasi,
Tapasyashi,
austerities you perform.
austerities
austerities
you
you perform.
perform.
Kaunteya,
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 O son of Kunti.
O
O
son
son
of
of
Kunti,
Kunti,
Tat,
Tat,
that,
Tat,
that
Kurushva,
Purushva
Kurushva,
do,
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 mat,
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 unto me,
unto
unto
me,
me,
arpanam,
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 as an offering.
as an
as an
offering.
offering.
Excuse me. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. Purport. Thus, it is the duty of everyone to mold his life in such a way that he will not forget Krishna in any circumstance. Everyone has to work for maintenance of his body and soul together. And Krishna recommends herein that one should work for him. Everyone has to eat something to live. Therefore, he should accept the remnants of foodstuffs offered to Krishna. Any civilized man has to perform some religious ritualistic ceremonies. Therefore, Krishna recommends, do it for me. And this is called archana. Everyone has a tendency to give something in charity. Krishna says, give it to me. And this means that all surplus money accumulated should be utilized in furthering the Krishna consciousness movement. Nowadays, people are very much inclined to the meditational process, which is not practical in this age. But if anyone practices meditating on Krishna 24 hours a day by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra around his beads, he is surely the greatest meditator and the greatest yogi, as substantiated by the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Pamajnanatimirandasya jnananjanashalakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai shri gurave namaha mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yatkripātamaham vande shri gurum dīnatarinam Paramanandamādhavam Shri Krishna Chaitanyameshwaram Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Yat karoshi yadashnasi yad juhoshi dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kurushva madarpanam. So in the previous verse, Krishna talked about what? What was the content of the previous verse? Anyone who attended yesterday's class?
Patram Pushpam Palam Toyam was the verse.
Okay. What was the Krishna is saying if you offer me with devotion, patram pushpam phalam toyam, then whatever is offered with devotion, okay, I got a pop-up saying I'm signed out. Okay, so I hope everyone is able to still hear me.
Yes, I'm sorry. I had a phone call, so I had to go away.
Okay, no problem, because something popped up that I'm signed out. That's why I'm asking. Okay, so now Krishna has described the destination of different people, how different people worship, different demigods. Krishna has described different modes of worship, how people worship different people. Different objects of worship, they were described, and the destination also. Finally, he gave the destination. Those who worship the demigods, they will take birth amongst them. Those who worship the pitas, they'll go there. The ghosts and spirits, then they'll take birth among them. But the devotee will live with me. That's what Krishna has said. And in the previous verse, he said, if somebody offers me something specifically, patram pushpam phalam toyam, then I will accept it. Yome bhaktya prayachati kadaham bhaktipahritam ashnami prayatatmanaha. Now there also the word ashnami was there, and in this verse also there is ashnasi. What is the difference? The difference is, in this verse, ashnasi literally means eating. But in the previous verse, it is not necessarily eating, because you can eat patram, you can eat palam, you drink toyam, you eat fruit. But flower, generally, unless it's cauliflower, is cabbage a flower? Or is it a leaf? Probably broccoli is a flower. I don't know. But generally, flower, do you eat flower? What do you do?
Banana flower.
Pyari Prabhu was saying we eat banana flowers yesterday.
Yeah, but do we eat flowers in general, I'm asking?
No, we normally offer it to God.
We smell flower, right? Normally we smell flowers. So the ashnasi there has a meaning, not just eating. That's why you see Prabhupada didn't translate as I eat. How did he translate? Ashnami? Accept. He said, I accept. He didn't say all of these things I eat. He said, I will accept it. The reason is, flower you smell, you don't eat. So accept, ashnami, the broader meaning should be taken there. But in this verse, ashnami specifically means eat. And one more thing, in the previous verse, we're directly offering to Krishna, and he's asking what he wants. And how do you contrast this verse? So it's not necessarily offering what he wants, patram pushpam phalam toyam, but this is whatever you do. So that previous one is direct bhakti. There are certain verses in this chapter that deal with directly bhakti. The first one is 9:14. What is the verse 9:14? Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dridavvrataha namasyantascha mam bhaktya nityayukta upasate. Right? So this is talking about direct pure devotion, always chanting Krishna's name, they are engaged in the service of the Lord. Nitya Yukta Upasate. Namasyantascha, offering respects, always glorifying Him, endeavoring with determination by taking vows. In this way, they're always engaged in Krishna service. Of course, who are they? They are the Mahatmas, Mahatmanastu Mampartha, and describing the qualities of the Mahatmas. And also verse number 22. Who remembers verse number 22? Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana patyupasate tesham nityabhiyuktaya nam yogakshemam vahamyam. Again, ananya chintayanto mam. They're always thinking of Krishna, nothing else. Nitya abhiyukta. They're always engaged. And for them, Krishna is yogakshema vahamyam. And verse number 26 also, you offer these things to me in bhakti. But this particular verse is not necessarily direct activity of bhakti, but whatever we do, we may have inclinations to do. Now you convert them to Krishna consciousness. The first one is whatever you do, yat karoshi. Can we not do anything at any point of time? No, we always do something. 3rd chapter, verse number 5. What is it? Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatutishtat yakarmakrit karyate hyavasha karma sarva prakriti jairgunahi. So because of the different modes of material nature that we have acquired, we are forced to act. No one can remain without doing an action even for a moment. Excuse me. So we must perform action. But Krishna is saying, do that action for me. Whatever action you do that for me. Now this is a little bit different than karma phalatyaga, where you perform an action and give the result to Krishna. He's saying now you do the action for me. Not only the result, but the action also. So that means we need to take up activities that are prescribed by the Shastra, and we have to offer that activity to Krishna. That means we need to be conscious that I'm doing this action for Krishna. And the result we use for Krishna service, but during the action also we must be conscious of Krishna. Yat karoshi. Now, if we properly understand that the strength to perform action, are we really the doer of our action? No. In the 18th chapter, there are 5 different factors of action are described. Adhishtanam tata karta, karanam cha pratak vidam, cheshtaha vividaha, daivam chatra pancham. 5 different factors of action. So we are not the sole doer. So when we perform things for Krishna, we become conscious of this fact. That Daivam, the super soul, he is the main cause. So then a devotee also feels Krishna's presence in his ability to do the action also. Just like Prahlad Maharaj used to wonder, how am I able to breathe? How am I able to do everything? How my senses are working? This is all because of the Lord. So there's a deeper consciousness involved here, that we take up activities that are properly prescribed and we become conscious of Krishna in our activities. And then we also give the results of our work to Krishna. Yadashnasi. So here we can take literally whatever you eat. Now, how can you eat for Krishna? How do we eat for Krishna? How do we eat as an offering to Krishna?
To get energy to serve Krishna.
Okay, very good, to get energy to serve Krishna. And what we eat also must be prasadam, that which is offered to Krishna. If we are eating that which is offered to Krishna, now the food has become an offering to Krishna. So then the activity of eating is, I eat to live, to keep my body and soul together, so that I can serve Krishna. I can practice Krishna consciousness in this life. Yat karoshi, yad ashnasi. So we should eat only prasadam. Then yad juhoshi. Now what is this juhoshi? So Gopi, what does the word juhoshi literally mean? Here it said you offer.
To sacrifice.
Yeah. This is like when the word havan, you offer in sacrifice, juhoshi. So it's literally is a sacrifice. And what is the verbal root?
Who?
Yeah, who, havane, right? To perform sacrifice. So now, Srila Prabhupada is specifically pointing to this offering, to the process of archana. That's one thing to note here. Okay. And he's saying this is called archana. Saying generally a religious person, he wants to perform some ritualistic ceremonies. People want to do something. They want to do some puja, some vrata. So why not worship Krishna? The purpose of sacrifice is to worship, is to call upon the Lord. And here Prabhupada is suggesting the process of archana. So yad karoshi, yad ashnasi, yad juhosi. One thing to note in all of these words, you literally take the words karoshi, ashnasi, juhoshi, dadasi, tapasyasi. Do you find something? Do you find a pattern? Someone else other than Sugopi. Is there any rhyming sort of pattern in these things? Karoshi,
Everything
ashnasi.
has she. Ends with she. Ends with she, I said.
Yeah, ends with she or she. And it's actually true. That's a Sanskrit verbal suffix. When you are addressing a person, when you are telling somebody to do it, you do it, the ending is C. And there are some rules. Before that, if you have E, O, things like that, then it changes to, sh, sha. So therefore, for juhoshi, karoshi, you see she. And E, U, O, same thing, kurushva, you see sha, sa turning into sha. But yes, it is, you can learn a little Sanskrit also here. So whatever you do, that's when you do. If you are saying someone else, then you say karoti, means he does it. But if you're talking about you do it, then you say karoshi. So we did karoshi, ashnasi, juhoshi. And the next one is dadasi, whatever you give away. Now, everyone wants to do a little bit of charity. Like the workplace, at my workplace, they had a target to have 60% of the employees give some charity. And the company made the goal. Of course, the company is in multiple places, in Singapore, in Taiwan, in India, in Japan, in US, and 60% of the employees made donations. So that means, in general, people want to give some charity. Of course, this is the donations made through the company portal. because the company also had some matching donations. So you can donate to your favorite charity. So that means generally a gentleman, a civilized person, he wants to give something. He wants to donate for some cause. And Krishna is saying, do it for me. Now we may think, why is Krishna asking my money? Actually, in order to do the work, it is Krishna who is helping us. I said there are 5 causes and Daivam, he is the main cause. And even for eating, Krishna has to help give us energy. How do we digest the food? Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva Praninam Deham Ashrita Pachantyannam Chaturvida. I don't remember the exact shloka. But I become this fire called Vaishvanara. And I stay in the body as this particular fire. And I help in the digestion of 4 different kinds of food. So without Krishna's help, we cannot even digest. Without Krishna's help, we cannot do any work. Without Krishna's help, we cannot even properly eat and we do not even get the food grains. So for every activity, we need Krishna's help. So when he say, you give it to me in charity, what can we give to Krishna? Everything belongs to Krishna. Ishavasyamidam sarvam. Then what do we give to Krishna? But he has given us some quota to experience, to live in this world. But even within that quota, we have excess. Krishna will give us excess. And that excess, we can give for Krishna conscious purposes. We can give as a donation back to Krishna. It is Krishna's. But by the process of giving, we realize that it belongs to Krishna. When we give, the more we give, the more we realize actually it doesn't belong to me. The last one is tapasyasi kaunteya. Now here Srila Prabhupada seemed to allude the meditational process as tapasya. People are inclined to meditation process. Actually, meditation process is very, very important and useful, that even all corporations many corporations are suggesting people to take up yoga and meditation process because it keeps them attentive and focused. Being attentive is a very big thing, is very difficult nowadays in this world of distraction. So therefore they want to take up some mindfulness process. They don't call meditation or yoga, they call it as being mindful. Mindfulness, mindful meditation. Mindful means being conscious, being attentive. So Prabhupada says, why not take up the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra and be attentive. In the mindfulness process, they tell us to pay attention to your breath, pay attention to your thoughts, but we pay attention to the Mahamantra. And actually that is the prescribed process for this day and age. For this Kali Yuga, that is the process, is to chant the holy names of the Lord and then meditate on these holy names, to hear the holy names, chant, hear, and then gradually by meditating on the sound, then everything else will happen. The form will be revealed, the relationship will be revealed. So this one here, Srila Prabhupada is talking as tapas. Generally, tapasya means something that is not so easy to do, but we voluntarily take up some trouble to do the tapasya. Even for material goals, a student is doing tapasya and working very hard to get good marks, to get good grades. A scientist is also performing tapasya by trying to discover something, working beyond his hours. So similarly, a devotee also, whatever tapasya he does, he can do it for Krishna, to attain Krishna, for Krishna conscious purpose. So because our time is limited, I'll stop here and I can take some comments or questions if anyone has any.
Just some observation, Prabhu.
Mhm.
Many people, even among Indians, they say like, why are you giving to the temple or giving, offering milk to Govardhan Hill and things like that, rather than why aren't you giving it to the poor? Why don't you give it to some other charity? We of course recognize that is not charity in the mode of, goodness or in transcendence.
Mhm.
So how would you explain to these people, or you wouldn't at all?
See, but first of all, what is their problem? They are thinking the action that we are doing is simply a wasteful. They are thinking our offering, say to Govardhan, is an act of wasteful action without any return. They are basically thinking in terms of return of investment, ROI, right? In workplace, you call it ROI, return of investment. So because they don't understand the return that we get out of it, they're thinking it is a wasteful investment. Unless you understand the transcendence, unless you understand the life beyond this body, you don't see the value in that investment. Kolevecha Sridhar was taking his money and putting it in Ganga. 50% of his income, Kolevecha Sridhar in Navadvip, in Bengal, he used to sell banana leaves. Whatever income he gets, 50% he used to put it in Ganga, taking the money and put it in Ganga. As an offering to Mother Ganga, as an offering of devotion. It is his hard-earned money, and he is investing for a higher spiritual purpose. Who are you to say that it is being wasted? That person is transformed in his devotion and is coming closer to his spiritual goal by that process. So his goal is higher and he's getting to his goal. Now let's contrast that with mundane things. How much money people are spending on cinemas? How much money are they spending on cinemas? Why are you going to movie?
Millions,
Outside the movie theater, beggars are sitting. Instead of going to movie, give the money to beggars. Movies is a wasteful thing. What are you accomplishing from the movie? You're getting headache. And people are actually, by following the movies, so many people are being destroyed. They are not studying. They are, becoming lusty. They are becoming angry. The entire movie industry is a nonsense.
No, that's a good point. They could say that you are getting some sense gratification, but the devotees, by offering something, are gratifying their higher senses, that you could say, right?
Yeah, and they're practicing detachment. But you are going to movie, you're not practicing detachment. You are not giving up your wealth. You are getting some sense gratification, but here, okay, you think this person is giving away wastefully, then yes, that person's sacrifice is much higher than your sacrifice. He's not expecting anything in return, materially. Because there is spiritual return is there. Even if you look materially, he's giving it away. But you are a rascal. You want to get some sense gratification by going to the movie. Right? So giving to Krishna is for the higher purpose, higher spiritual well-being. And along with that spiritual well-being, there is also material well-being. There's also, emotional well-being. There's also mental well-being. All these factors are there. Why you are targeting my bhakti as something waste of investment? because you don't understand what it is, you're speaking like that.
Mhm.
Actually, that is the highest form of expression to God, by offering something. And of course, whatever we offer to God, it comes back. Even if we give milk to Govardhan, we, gather that milk and distribute as prasadam. It's not wasted.
No, some people were saying actually the Govardhan hill, hill itself.
Hill itself, what?
Some people offer, milk offerings to the Govardhan hill itself, which cannot be collected back.
Okay. And even still, that's not a problem, right? Because
no, I agree. I mean, that is the same thing as putting in the Ganga, But
yes,
but some people might argue, even spiritually speaking, couldn't that money have been given to some temple or something for upkeep of Krishna's,
it can be, but it's up to that person. It's his devotion he's making an offering, It's definitely something, not something wasteful, right?
Mhm.
It's up to the individual, but he's offering to Krishna,
Mhm.
right? And it can be done in a different way. Yes, you can do it in a different way, but it's not that his offering is being wasted.
Mhm. No, I like your argument. Your logic was very good. So we can actually argue that way. Thank you.
Thank you for the question and observation. Anyone else? I think we have 5 more minutes. And one of the difficult things Prabhupada mentions in here is one can practice meditating on Krishna 24 hours a day.
And that meditation is fine, he says, right? But
that is the biggest tapasya.
Right, but the other kind of meditation, he says, is not conducive to this age.
Yeah, it is not practical. Not practical. We can think of Krishna in our activities also. When we're doing any activity, we can think of Krishna. And through that way, we can, the meditation can be there. And then the work we do can also be, okay, Krishna, this work is for you. And through that process also, it will protect us from performing activities that are detrimental to our bhakti. So Gopi, you have your hand up. Please go ahead, unmute yourself and speak.
I was thinking that it's important. Krishna says we should perform austerities for him because we see how many people in the Bhagavatam perform austerities, but so that they can gain something for themselves. And even if we, like Hiranyakashipu and even Ravana, performed austerities to gain his powers, but even when we perform austerities and we think that this is for Krishna, there may be other side effects of it, like mystic powers, not for us, but maybe advanced devotees. But then we shouldn't get distracted by those and still do austerity just for Krishna.
Yes, that's a good point. So because generally, out of all the things that gives us powers, the greatest thing is the tapasya. Tapasya will give us a lot of powers. So it could also mean our sadhana. Sometimes Prabhupada says tapasya is our 4 regulative principles. So when we chant and we follow the principles, that is the tapasya. So now tapasya may give us some powers. It could just mean, our ability to perform strict sadhana is also something has to be given to us by Krishna. And if we become proud, oh, I am following everything nicely, this person is not following, then we should be careful that attitude, instead of feeling, I'm really fortunate that Krishna has given me strength to do my sadhana, is beneficial. But, oh, I am doing this and this person is not doing this. And that is very detrimental to our bhakti. So we may not associate closely with those who are not properly doing their sadhana, particularly those who don't want to do proper sadhana. But at the same time, whatever we are able to do, we should think that this is given by Krishna and it is being offered to Krishna. As soon as we think it is mine, then only we feel proud. But if we think it is simply given by Krishna, then we'll be protected from that pride.
Rather than think that someone else is not doing, we can also be a little sympathetic and see how we can help them do it,
Exactly. Yeah, that's the best way. But sometimes people may not be ready for that, right? They may
Correct,
think,
yeah.
what happens is usually when we feel proud is the situation maybe that those people who are not doing but who are thinking that they're so great, right? Then we have a tendency to look down, what is this guy? He doesn't even practice properly, but he's showing off that he's so great. So in our mind, we may put down, right? And we will think, look at me, I do so many things, but I'm still humble. So in those circumstances, we can just see that, I'm fortunate that I'm able to do, and I'm fortunate that, Krishna is showing me that I'm not so big. But that's a good point. Our general thing is we try to help, particularly if they're in the beginning stages, we help them so that we share,
Right. But like you said, you cannot help people who don't want to be helped either.
Exactly. Because I have come across people, there's one person in India, he just brags that how his grandfather used to always, think of Krishna, do Krishna thing, and he was born in such a great family. And he comes and tells, you people have, started practicing bhakti 10 years, 20 years ago, but in our family, it was already there. Krishna is our family deity. And this person doesn't even chant his rounds, but he's so proud. And my mom gets so angry, why is this man always telling this thing, and no matter who he meets, he keeps telling about the glory of his family. And he doesn't come from Mangalarati, he doesn't chant his rounds, he thinks he's already a devotee.
But Srila Prabhupada would spark the flame, whatever little Shraddha they had or pride in their family. And I think we have also known some people who came with that kind of pride into ISKCON, but later on recognize their
but the problem
folly
is,
also.
This person I'm talking, he's living next to temple for last 4 years.
And it's not changed much.
He comes and sparks his own ego in front of devotees. So devotees simply kind of stay away from me. Yes, Prabhu, you are great.
Yeah, I mean, even when many of our book distributors, whenever they come to Indians, I have already read the Bhagavad Gita. They know everything about the Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah. So there is some innocence and we can help.
Yeah, sometimes there is, yeah. Innocent ignorance, yeah.
Yes.
Well, actually, I was just thinking, through our acharyas who are truly, devotees of Krishna, who recognize the greatness of Krishna, never ever think they are great themselves, because they understand how much greater Krishna is and how insignificant they understand that relationship so well. They can never ever think of themselves as great, a true devotee.
Yes, that is Karpanya, right?
Yeah.
The 6 items of Sharanagati. Atmanikshepa Karpanya.
Yeah, and I think Sugopi was earlier saying that, Sugopi, you were saying that even if as you're doing tapasya, you might get some siddhis, right? Is that what you were saying, Sugopi?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, so I was just thinking, like, Srila Prabhupada would never ever advertise that he had any of these siddhis, but actually from many of the stories that I've heard, he did have many of the siddhis that he could bring forth if he needed to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's right.
But he never ever, he just acted so humbly, like he was, pretty much, even amongst his disciples, sometimes he would act, humbler than them. He would humble himself to them.
Yeah. When we have heard of instances where Prabhupada would be walking along on the beach and they won't see Prabhupada's footprints.
Yeah, and once he was like walking along the beach where there were palm trees, and this devotee asked the question like, Prabhupada, would you be able to say how many coconuts in that on that tree or something like that? And Srila Prabhupada first said, that's not a pertinent question, or it's not it's a silly question that you should not be asking your Guru Maharaj. But then later on, after he walked a little bit, he actually told the number of coconuts on the tree. So it's not that he couldn't, but he felt like it was not really a pertinent question to ask your Guru Maharaj. There are so many other things that you could ask.
Yes.
But I guess he wanted to increase the faith of the devotees. So I've heard stories like that. And then there are stories when the glass broke with all the chanting and none of the glass was found on the floor later, when they were cleaning up. So there were so many instances of his having the siddhis, but he never really professed to have them.
And even Prabhupada's disciples, we see with several Maharajas, different instances of how you would be thinking of something and then they tell you what it is. And
that has happened so many times. Every disciple of Srila Prabhupada says that about him, that he knew exactly what they were thinking.
Yes. Okay, so I think probably we should stop here. Thank you very much, all the devotees, for your association. Panchakalpatarubhyascha
Kripasindhubhyev cha
Patithanam Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Antakoti Vaishnavan ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. How was your trip, Prabhu? Was it good?
Oh yeah.
Good.
Particularly Vrindavan, I just didn't want to leave Vrindavan. You can stay there.
Oh.
Yeah. Very nice.
Yeah, you have to tell us about it sometime.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone.